Welcome to this evening's Spokane City Council meeting. And before we call the roll, I just wanted to let folks know a couple things. First of all, if you're here to watch or testify about consideration of special budget ordinance regarding to the police forfeiture fund, number 35930, that has been deferred indefinitely. It won't be considered this evening. We also added 2 resolutions and a special budget ordinance. One resolution is the internal loan for public safety capital vehicle purchases, refinance, and the other is around the CARES Act, which is probably worth sticking around with. On the second round of CARES Act funding, we'll announce a resolution in support of the grantees on that and have a special budget ordinance on that. The other thing I just wanted to mention, if you're signed up to testify this evening, it's important that you stay on the phone line because there is an approximately 45-second delay of the video feed from the real time in the phone line. So if you're relying on the video feed, you will be seeing the request for you to call in after we've already been waiting for you and probably moved on to the next person. So I'll remind folks of that again. We also have a few proclamations this evening. But before we go further, Madam Clerk, if you could read the roll.
Council President Beggs.
Present.
Councilmember Burke.
Here.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Present.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Present.
Councilmember Mumm.
Here.
Councilmember Stratton.
Here.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Present.
Let the record reflect that all council members are present.
All right, as I mentioned, we have 3 proclamations, and the first one, Councilmember Wilkerson, is going to read on behalf of Spokane Gives, and then Tim Hinkle is here to say a few words. Councilmember Wilkerson.
Thank you, Council President. So the City of Spokane proclamation, whereas Spokane is a leader in volunteerism, and the Spokane Gives initiative has connected over 92,000 passionate volunteers to give almost 522,000 hours of service over the past 6 years, resulting in a volunteer impact of over $13 million in our community. And whereas we highlight giving over an entire month by engaging the faith-based, educational, environmental, and public service sectors of our community to increase exponentially to build a more connected city. And whereas Spokane is designated as a compassionate city and makes us uniting citizens a priority through our active nonprofits and dedicated citizens who work to make our community a better place. Now, therefore, I, Nadine Woodward, Mayor of the City of Spokane, on behalf of the citizens of Spokane, do hereby here recognize and proclaim September 20th as Spokane Gives Month in Spokane and urge citizens to join in giving back to the Spokane community by volunteering during the month of September. I have to say also, Spokane is a compassionate city, and it is one of the things that people like about this community. Being a longtime volunteer myself, I have seen the effects and have had the pleasure of being part of that. So thank each and every one of the citizens that have contributed to giving in the city of Spokane.
All right. Tim, would you like to say a few words? Tim, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Thank you very much. Everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Fabulous. Thank you. And we're honored to be part of this and actually look forward to it each year. I think, as all of you know, we have been holding Spokane Gives Month in April. And something in 2020 during April seemed to have gotten in our way of trying to host and hold this kind of an event. Actually, it's still a bit of a challenge, but we're working with you and others to make sure that this happens. And to the point of the proclamation and what we've been doing with the city is that this really is a year-round activity, as Councilmember Wilkerson lifted up. It is a part of the fabric of what our community is. And again, we're happy to be a part of all of this. We look forward to continuing this effort and holding a Spokane Gives Month even in April of 2021 as part of what is really National Volunteer Month. And so once again, thank you for the recognition here this evening, and we can look forward to continuing our work with you.
Thanks so much, Tim. And thanks so much, Tim. And we have another proclamation on hunger action, and Councilmember Stratton's going to read that.
Good evening. It looks like Kathy Hedgecock is here with us. Welcome. Whereas hunger exists in Spokane and has increased substantially during the coronavirus pandemic, Feeding America calculates that prior to the pandemic, 1 in 7 residents of Spokane County were food insecure, including 1 in 5 children, and the problem has worsened to the point that 1 in 5 adults and 1 in 3 children may experience food insecurity. And whereas, along with generous community partners, funders, food donors, and volunteers, Second Harvest is committed to providing healthy food and nutrition education to those who need it most. Second Harvest supplies food at no cost for thousands of meals per day for those in need, ranging from children to senior citizens. At the conclusion of the Second Harvest fiscal year, June 30th, they had distributed 43 million pounds of food, or food more than 43 million pounds of food, or food for more than 35.8 million meals to people facing hunger. This is 11 million more pounds than the previous year. And whereas, since the COVID-19 pandemic unfolded in March, Second Harvest has gone from providing food for 70,000 meals to more than 130,000 meals each day in Eastern Washington and North Idaho. Now, therefore, I, Nadine Woodward, Mayor of the City of Spokane, on behalf of the citizens of Spokane, do hereby proclaim September 2020 as Hunger Action Month.
All right. Kathy, please say a few words. You're muted.
Very much. It's really,
You're good
can you
now.
hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Sorry. Excellent. Sorry about that. Thank you. It's just my pleasure to be here this evening, and thank you for the invitation. For many years, the City of Spokane has been a wonderful partner in Second Harvest work to get food to where it's needed most, and we appreciate your willingness to increase awareness and community engagement by officially proclaiming September as Hunger Action Month. And just as a side note, we plan to be actively involved in United Way's month of service as well. So the timing couldn't be better for us. But just a little bit more about our history. We were founded in 1971 as a central warehouse for a handful of emergency food banks right here in Spokane. And today, our Hunger Solution Centers in Spokane and the Tri-Cities supply donated food to 250 partner food banks, meal sites, and other programs, including our own mobile market, free food distributions, that feed thousands of people facing hunger each week. And that covers 21 counties here in Eastern Washington and 5 counties in North Idaho. So just as a footnote, some of the data that's in that proclamation really reflects our full service territory, not just here in Spokane. In the COVID pandemic, many of our partner food banks have seen demand double since the onset of the crisis in March. Thanks to our generous community, including the human services funding we receive from City of Spokane, we've been able to ensure the nutritious food continues getting to children, families, and seniors in need during these trying times. Now, people always ask us how they can help and get involved. During Hunger Action Month, we do all we can to make it easy for people to make a difference by providing tools they can use to host their own food and fund drives. And as you probably know, we typically rely on an incredible number of volunteers to do this important work. Usually that's more than 6,000 people helping us out right here in Spokane every year. you know, because of the situation right now, we've really had to scale down volunteer opportunities. We want to keep everyone safe. Although the National Guard have been deployed here and they've really stepped up in a big way to fill that void, we still do have volunteers coming in to help us on a regular basis, just, again, scaled back a bit. Now, I hope this works. I had called Hannah Lee about this earlier. I wanted to show just a little brief video. It's just about a minute long. It shows our mobile market in action, and it really helps tell the story of the impact of these services on our neighbors in need. So let me give it a shot here and see if I can get this to work. Okay, that's my screen. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can get this. Oh, wait, here it is. I see it. Sorry, everybody.
We're not seeing it, Kathy. We're not seeing it, Kathy. We just have a black screen.
Is it not working?
No. But if you want to,
I have it. I can share.
oh, Hannah Lee will show it. So just a moment. If you could unshare your screen.
I'm so sorry about that.
Don't worry. If you could unshare, and then Hannah Lee will share it.
All right. Let me see if I can. Oh, why am I such a klutz at this? I apologize.
We are all learning about it. No worries.
Okay, stop sharing. Thought I could get that to work, but sorry about that. Thank you.
Just a moment. Yeah, I can see it. So, yeah. Can't hear it though. I can't hear it over the main speaker. I could just hear it in your computer. Luckily they have subtitles. Okay, yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Kathy, for bringing that to us and for all the work that you do. You've been such an amazing partner to our community, getting people fed and just tireless. So thank you. And please let us know as a city government how we can be supportive going forward as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, and now we have our third and final proclamation for the evening. It's Recovery Month, and Councilmember Burke is going to read the proclamation, and then we're going to hear from Christine McMacken from Community Minded Enterprises. Councilmember Burke.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And it's good to see you, Christine. Thanks for joining us tonight. I was excited to read this proclamation. As many of you know, I am in my own recovery program, and just in 3 days I will have 2 years sober. So I was kind of excited to read this proclamation tonight. So thank you. Whereas behavioral health is an essential part of health and overall wellness and prevention of mental and or substance abuse disorder is effective, treatment is successful, and people can recover. People can and do recover. And whereas people in recovery achieve healthy lifestyles both physically and emotionally and contribute in positive ways to their community. By educating the public about the conditions of substance abuse disorder and mental health issues, we hope to help others overcome the barriers and the stigma. And whereas the Recovery Month observes work to improve the lives of those affected by mental health and substance abuse disorder by raising awareness of those diseases and educating communities about the prevention, treatment, and recovery resources that are available. Now, therefore, Nadine Woodward, the mayor of the city of Spokane, on behalf of the community members of Spokane, does hereby proclaim September 2020 as National Recovery Month in Spokane and calls upon the community to observe this month by celebrating Hands Across the Falls virtually September 1st through September 30th, 2020. Thank you.
And Christine, would you like to say a few words?
I would love to. First of all, congratulations on almost 2 years. That's amazing. I, too, I'm a person in long-term recovery. On the 14th of this month, or September, I will actually have 12 years. So, I don't think it matters if you've got 24 hours or if you've got 30 years. Being in recovery every day is a huge blessing. So, which is part of why Recovery Month is important to me. I'm the manager down at the Recovery Cafe, for those of you that do not know. But Hands Across the Falls has been an amazing event. This is our 4th year, and unfortunately, and fortunately, we are doing it a little bit differently. So this year we are going to be going virtually, and what that really means is that we are asking members of the community, people in recovery, people that support recovery, advocates, anybody to show their support by having one of our signs. And I did email those out to Hannah Lee probably 10 minutes before the meeting, because that's just how I do things lately. To just, if you can, take a selfie and send it to us. We are providing the members of the cafe and other community members free t-shirts as soon as they get those posted, and a little lanyard to go with it, because our shirts have been really important to people. That's one of those things. It's kind of like Bloomsday, you know. I hope in 30 years, like somebody has one of every year we've had. So on a totally different note, I have this script that I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm totally off script today. I wanted to let you know, because we talk about our recovery community, and one of my biggest fears when we hit COVID was that I was so worried about our community and how they were going to do. And what I have found is that a lot of them are doing amazing. It seems like the longer that we are in COVID, the more they're suffering from mental health issues, which then turns them into relapse. So having an event like this, or even coming down to the cafe, or going to anywhere that is promoting recovery or just wants to be an ear, is so important right now. And I think the work that everybody is doing right now is just, it's tireless. It's what we do, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I did want to say to Second Harvest really quick, we get food from you guys, so thank you so much. You are there helping to feed. We go through about 125 meals a week, so thank you so much. We definitely couldn't do it without you. But definitely want to thank our sponsors, AmeriGroup, Empire Health Foundation, Molina, Spokane Regional Health District, MultiCare, Oxford House, and the Stone Group of companies. So those are our great sponsors this year. And I hope to see everybody out there taking your selfie with one of our pictures or one of our signs. And hopefully next year we can see you guys all on the bridge. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. I had a great time on the bridge last year, and we'll miss you in person, but we will get you those selfies. And thanks for taking care of our people in this really challenging time. It's great. Thank
And
you.
thank you for doing the same thing. We appreciate it.
Yep. Yep. Okay, so we're going to move to our legislative agenda. We've got 2 special budget ordinances and 3 resolutions that people can testify on, and people have signed up, at least one person for each one. So again, I just wanted to remind people what I said at the beginning. If you're going to be testifying, you need to be listening on your phone, because that's where you're going to get the notice that it's time for you to testify. And the way we do it is I'll call out someone's name and they press *3, which will electronically raise their hand. And then Ms. Allers will unmute that person. We'll do 3 minutes of testifying. I will give people a 30-second warning since you won't be able to see our timer. Apologies in advance if I'm interrupting you during that time. And then when your time's up, I'll let you know. And then it's important that you hit *3 and lower your hand so that the next person gets a chance. And I'll then call that person's name. And if there's going to be more than one speaker, I'll try to give a few advance warnings on the people coming up. So with that, the first special budget ordinances is what, Ms. Pfister?
Ordinance C 35931, general fund from unappropriated reserves, $500,000 to traffic calming measures, same amount, and traffic calming measures fund from transfer from general fund, $500,000 to reserve for budget adjustment, same amount. This action allows reimbursement to the traffic calming measures fund for the transfer of traffic calming funds to the police department related to 2019.
And we do have several people signed up for this. Councilmember Mumm, would you like to tee this up for the public?
Sure. The way we have to transfer this money is a little confusing because it was a closeout from 2019. So the funds were closed out and they go into temporarily into reserves. But what this money is money that people have paid tickets for speeding through school areas. And these funds are to be used to improve and build sidewalks and safe crosswalks and make it safer for kids to walk to school. And we thought we were going to be able to use the money for police last year, but it turns out that was not able to be used. So we're just returning the money back to those funds.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Mumm. And Ms. Allers tells me there's not very many people on the phone, but we'll go through and read the people who signed up ahead of time, and we'll see. The first person I have is Molly Martin. Molly, if you're there and want to testify, please hit *3. Not seeing anything from Molly. And since I know there's only one person on the phone, I'm just going to kind of rapidly go through. Sasha Sharman, are you there? Please hit *3. All right. How about Lark Chef? All right. How about Elke Phillips, *3. All right. How about Emma Owen, *3? How about Patrick Laws, *3? And the last person I have is Nicolette Ochiltree. All right. Nicolette, go ahead. You have 3 minutes. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'd love to hear from you.
Hi, I'm Nicolette Ochiltree, and appreciate being able to speak tonight. First of all, I appreciate Councilwoman Mumm's explanation, but I was hoping that during the council commentary time on this ordinance, one of you could be so kind as to explain precisely why the funds for traffic calming measures were transferred to the police department in the first place, thus making the transfer back necessary, because I was actually a little unclear on why that was in the first place. Secondly, At the 3:30 briefing meeting, I did hear some concerns about the wording of this ordinance, and during that discussion, concerns were raised that if this transfer is not made, there could be some delay in critical traffic calming projects in neighborhoods across the city. I do hope that this ordinance is passed so the transfer can be made swiftly so as not to delay these much-needed traffic calming projects. That being said, I do want to make a broader point about the need of traffic calming measures in general and how they can impact safety here in Spokane. As more folks move to Spokane from other cities, it'll be increasingly more important that we address the hundreds, if not thousands, of unprotected intersections in our neighborhoods. And by unprotected intersections, I mean intersections in neighborhoods that do not have a light, a stop sign, a roundabout, a yield sign, or anything like that. It requires folks to be predisposed to know and have a well-formed intuition to drive cautiously and to yield the right-of-way to the driver who is entering the intersection first. While this precaution may be something that people who have lived in and been a driver in Spokane for a long time take for granted, this is not something that most drivers in most cities actually encounter. So for people moving to Spokane or visiting Spokane, there's a real danger that these unprotected intersections will increasingly be the sites of potentially deadly accidents. Although Spokane is my hometown, I first learned to drive in Dallas, Texas. And since then, I've lived in and been a driver in cities all across the country. I can tell you that from my personal experience, these unprotected intersections are very rare in other parts of the country. And I worry if we don't start to address this issue now, the consequences could be expensive and potentially deadly for Spokane citizens and their visitors in the future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Ochiltree. And that's the end of public comment. Are there any council commentary questions? Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, I just want to say, after our briefing session, I had an opportunity to follow up with Tanya once again, as well as Councilman Mumm, and I think got a few things sorted out, some confusion over where the money's coming from, going, etc. And so I'm gonna go ahead and support this tonight, and just wanted to make one quick comment to Nicolette. I think it is kind of interesting if you talk to people who are longtime Spokanites. They like or are used to, at least, to the unprotected intersections, and you talk to folks who move here at some point in life, and they're very frustrated by it. So it's really interesting to hear the different dynamics and perspectives on that. So just throwing that out there.
Other council commentary? All right, I'm not seeing any, but I just did want to answer Nicolette's question about how the funds got transferred in the first place. A couple of years ago, after hearing lots of concerns and requests from neighborhood councils that there were not enough officers patrolling neighborhoods for speeding, and recognizing that we used to have about 24 traffic patrol officers, and now we have about 5, we took some of the funds from the speeding violations near schools and dedicated them into a fund for police if they would hire more traffic patrol officers and use them at least 50% of their shifts within 300 yards of a school or a park. And so that was the idea, is that being responsive to neighborhood concerns, because even when the speed limit signs are there, if there's no one enforcing it, it can be a problem. So we have negotiated on and off with the department for a couple of years now. We haven't quite reached an agreement on how to do that, but there was some confusion in transferring the funds over, even though we hadn't reached agreement. So that's how that happened. It was meant to provide more safety through enforcement, but we haven't gotten there yet. So I'll let you know that. With that, let's take a roll call vote, and starting with Councilmember Mumm.
Aye.
Councilmember Stratton.
Aye.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Aye.
Council President's an aye. Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Aye.
All right, that passes 7-0, and I think to Ms. Ochiltree's concern, that goes into place immediately. So we'll have some more funds in the traffic fund to fund some projects that are upcoming. We're going to go to another special budget ordinance in a moment for the CARES Act, but then just so you know, the next couple of ones that we're going to consider, because they were added to the agenda today, they require a full reading. So they're our clerk is going to get her workout today, but it'll be a little bit, just so you know. But I only have one person signed up for the CARE. No, I have two people signed up for the CARES special budget ordinance, but they were both signed up for the traffic calming and didn't testify, but just giving people a warning. With that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Pfister to read the special budget ordinance.
Okay. Ordinance number C 35933, an ordinance amending ordinance number C 35857, passed by the City Council December 16, 2019, and entitled, an ordinance adopting the annual budget of the City of Spokane for 2020, making appropriations to the various funds of the City of Spokane government for the fiscal year ending December 31, 2020, and providing it shall take effect immediately upon passage and declared an emergency. Whereas subsequent to the adoption of the 2020 budget ordinance number C 35857 as above entitled, and which passed the City Council December 16, 2019, it is necessary to make changes in the appropriations of the general fund, which changes could not have been anticipated or known at the time of making such budget ordinance. Now therefore the City of Spokane does ordain Section 1 that in the budget of the general fund and the budget annexed thereto with reference to the general fund, the following changes be made. From Department of Commerce, $1,128,023.70 to General Fund Contractual Services, $1,128,023.70. Section 2, it is therefore by the City Council declared that an urgency and emergency exists for making the changes set forth herein. Such urgency and emergency arising from the need to budget for the city's necessary responses to protect the health, safety, and welfare of residents of Spokane and to mitigate the public health, social health, and economic impacts of COVID-19 in Spokane, and because of such need, an urgency and emergency exists for the passage of this ordinance, and also because the same makes an appropriation, it shall take effect and be enforced immediately upon its passage.
Right. Again, this is essentially the budget ordinance that allows us to accept a little over $1.2 million from the Washington State Department of Commerce from CARES Act allocation to spend as will be set out in an upcoming resolution. As far as speakers, the first one I have signed up is Lark Schaff. Hit *3 if you're there, Lark. All right, and then the second speaker I have is Patrick Laws. Mr. Laws, if you're there, go ahead and hit *3. Not seeing anything from either of them. Any council commentary or questions? Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, I guess one concern, I'm not going to hold up the vote or anything like that, but one concern is that the Northeast Community Center is not on here. And I know that they had, at one time anyway, about 6 weeks ago, were in need of $15,000 to $20,000 to finish out their some of their expansions for social distancing. And so I'm not sure where the ball maybe got dropped there, but hopefully we can get that resolved. It does appear we're probably going to get a couple more million from Commerce through some additional allocations from the governor. So I just hope we can get any needs that they need fulfilled through those additional dollars. So, but I just want to make that point.
I believe they are included. It says Northeast Youth Center. That's them, I believe.
That's the youth center, the community center.
Two separate buildings.
Okay.
Yeah, two separate.
I'm not sure if I don't recall an application for them other than the Northeast Youth Center. So. But.
Yeah, I was looking through the list of applications too, and I didn't see it. We had sent it to them, and so I just don't know where. There may have been a ball drop somewhere, and I probably should have followed up with them, and so. But I will make sure we do that in time for any additional rounds that may come forward.
Sure.
I'm happy to help with that, Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, as you'll see when we get down to the list, announce them publicly. If they were related to youth and community centers, they pretty much got funded. But all right, any other council commentary? Councilmember Wilkerson, did you have your hand up?
Council President, I was going to just echo what you just said about community centers. That was really important to us to be definitely in the neighborhoods. Application did not come before us, but we know the need is there, and I think we'll be as responsive as we can.
Great. All right. Well, that's a great catch, District 1 council members. Let's hopefully get that rectified in the near future. All right. Any other commentary? All right. Seeing and hearing none, we'll go for the roll call. Councilmember Mumm.
Aye.
Councilmember Stratton.
Aye.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Aye.
Council President's an aye. Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Aye.
All right. That passes 7-0, which is the special budget ordinance related to the COVID community response from CARES Act. And now we're going to go to the accompanying resolution. I'll let Ms. Pfister read that, and you can go a little bit slower on the actual agencies and the amounts in case people are keeping score at home.
Okay. Second here. Okay. Resolution number 2020-64, a resolution authorizing the award of Round 2 CARES Act community support funding. Whereas under the Federal CARES Act, the City of Spokane was authorized to obtain reimbursement of $6.6 million to help people in Spokane mitigate the effects of COVID-19. And whereas the City Council has authorized funding specific categories of assistance by adoption of Resolution 2020-41. And whereas to determine the exact distribution of such funding, the City issued a request for proposals, hereafter RFP, and received 2 rounds of responsive proposals. And whereas an ad hoc review committee consisting of the mayor, chief financial officer, and 3 council members has reviewed and scored the round 2 proposals and is now making recommendations to the City Council to authorize funding and begin the contract negotiation process. And whereas the review committee recommends that the following entities receive CARES Act funding in the following amounts: Mid-City Concerns Incorporated, doing business as Meals on Wheels Spokane, $50,000. West Central Community Center, $37,463. Southwest Spokane Community Center, $30,040.23. Martin Luther King Jr. Family Outreach Center, $59,000. Women Helping Women Fund, $53,000. Northeast Youth Center, $63,418.92. Spokane Public Schools, $155,427.60. YMCA of the Inland Northwest, $133,779. Volunteers of America, Eastern Washington, North Idaho, $104,942. If you could save just one, $22,054. Catholic Charities, $38,317.96. Lutheran Community Services Northwest, $6,800. Feast Collective, $48,781. Spokane Independent Metro Business Alliance, $300,000. Wishing Star Foundation, $25,000. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council authorizes the expenditures in the above amounts for the above named recipients to help the people of Spokane respond and recover from the public health, economic, and social health impacts of COVID-19. Be it also resolved that the City Administration is authorized to begin contract negotiations with the above named entities for the stated amounts to be reimbursed by CARES Act funds.
All right. Thank you, Terry. And again, for the awards that are under $50,000, the administration can just contract with them. If they're over $50,000, they'll come back to us in the form of a contract with the specifics for our review on it. But I'll open it up. Oh, sorry. We had one person signed up. He signed up for a few things tonight. Mr. Patrick Laws, if you're there, hit *3. All right. We're not seeing any indication from Mr. Laws. I'll open that up to council commentary and questions. Councilmember Mumm, and then Wilkerson after that.
Thank you for the council that worked on this and then staff as well. It's so great to see the community centers. We know they need it, and wish we could have gotten more money.
Candace, we can hardly hear you.
Okay, I'll talk louder. Just wanted to say thank you to everyone who worked on this, and the community centers really needed it.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
I just want to say it was a great process. I just want the citizens to know that when we did our survey, we really heard what the citizens wanted the money to go to and where to help out. Having 2 rounds allowed us to do that. A lot around youth and what went on with the school district and our kids. I think the city has done a great job of doing that, and I am glad that we're able to invest back in our community with these CARES dollars.
Any other comments, questions? All right, we'll prepare for a roll call, but I just wanted to give my appreciation and hats off to Sally Stouffer. She really, essentially, from the administration, ran the process. She made it very easy, even though it was complex and under a short timeline. She made it work really well, so I was really impressed by that. Councilmember Mumm. As far as voting, sorry, we're on the roll call.
Oh, this is a vote. Oh, I thought you got it.
No,
Yes,
sorry.
aye.
Okay, so that's an aye. Councilmember Stratton.
Aye.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Aye.
Council President's an aye. Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Aye.
All right, that passes 7-0. And we're now to the one resolution that was originally scheduled.
Resolution 2020-63, setting hearing before the City Council for September 28, 2020 for the vacation of the alley between Bismarck and Central from Sycamore to Julia as requested by Thomas Kostelecki. Council sponsor, Council President Biggs.
And I believe we have Eldon Brown on the line. If you want to share with our viewers what this project is.
See if we can get it up there. Okay, this alley's in the northeast part of town. It was actually platted. It's between Bismarck and Central from Julia to Sycamore. It was platted in 1889, so it qualifies under that non-user statute. So we would recommend a no-cost vacation on that basis. We do not have any city utilities in that alley, but Comcast, Vista, and CenturyLink do. So we would recommend if the vacation is approved, it be approved subject to retaining easements for those 3 utility purveyors. That's pretty much what's going on with it. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from council for Mr. Brown? Any questions from council for Mr. Brown? All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Councilmember Mumm.
Did you really say 1889? Isn't that when the city was founded?
Well, a little bit after that, but the non-user statute actually applies for anything platted under 1904. It had to be platted in the county at that time, and then not open for a period of 5 years. So it's an old-time plat up there.
Wow. Thank you.
Any other questions?
All right. I'm not seeing any questions for Eldon. Hang on the line, Eldon, just in case somebody from the public does comment. We have one person signed up, Mr. Laws, Patrick Laws. If you're there, hit *3. Not seeing anything from Mr. Laws. Any other council commentary, questions? All right, with that, we'll go to a roll call. Councilmember Mumm.
I'm an aye, but I just checked my Google. We were founded in 1873. It was a fire that was there. I got confused.
All right.
That's an aye.
Councilmember Stratton.
Aye.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Aye.
Council President, it's an aye. Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Aye.
And Councilmember Wilkerson. Councilmember Wilkerson, are you still there? All right, we will record her vote a little bit later. I'm sure she's still in the meeting, but we're not hearing her. We'll go to the next resolution, also added late this afternoon, and that means, Mark Mariano says Ms. Wilkerson is back. Would you like to vote on the vacation ordinance? Ms. Wilkerson.
Aye.
Okay, great. All right. So that passes 7-0. Anyway, we have the resolution on the internal loan for public safety capital vehicle purchases, refinancing that, and it's a very involved one. So, Madam Clerk, go ahead. Give it your best shot.
Okay, this one's a little bit long, so bear with me. Resolution number 2020-65, a resolution of the City of Spokane, Washington, providing for the issuance and sale of certain individual limited tax general obligation refunding bonds in the aggregate principal amount of not to exceed $19,030,039.91, establishing interfund loan facilities from the Spokane Investment Pool to refinance existing interfund loans, fixing the dates, forms, maturities, interest rates, terms, and covenants of the bonds, authorizing the sale and delivery of the bonds to the city, and providing for other matters properly relating thereto. Whereas pursuant to Resolution 2014-79, the city authorized a series of multiple draw interfund loans from the Spokane Investment Pool to the Asset Management Fund in the aggregate amount of not to exceed $26 million the year after the Public Safety Loan Series to be used to finance the purchase of public safety equipment, vehicles, and apparatus, and issued the first series with an initial draw of $5,694,196 hereafter the 2014 Public Safety Loan. And whereas pursuant to Resolution 2019-105, the city authorized an interfund loan from the Spokane Investment Pool to the Asset Management Fund in the amount of not to exceed $2,162,967.88 to be used to refinance the 2014 Public Safety Loan, which draw remains outstanding in the principal amount of $1,721,027.96. And whereas pursuant to Resolution 2014-79, the city authorized an additional $5,529,705 draw on the Public Safety Loan Series hereafter the 2015 Public Safety Loan, which draw remains outstanding in the principal amount of $1,934,581.53. And whereas pursuant to Resolution 2014-79, the city authorized an additional $5,085,533 draw on the Public Safety Loan Series, the 2016 Public Safety Loan, which draw remains outstanding in the principal amount of $2,997,308.39. And whereas pursuant to Resolution 2014-79, the city authorized an additional $4,785,062 draw on the Public Safety Loan Series, the 2017 Public Safety Loan, which draw remains outstanding in the principal amount of $3,524,125.13. And whereas pursuant to Resolution 2014-79, the city authorized an additional $4,155,485 draw on the Public Safety Loan Series, the 2018 Public Safety Loan, which draw remains outstanding in the principal amount of $4,325,058.90. And whereas pursuant to Resolution 2019-34, the city authorized an interfund loan from the Spokane Investment Pool to the Property Acquisition Fund in the amount of not to exceed $4,527,938 to be used to finance the purchase of public safety equipment, vehicles, and apparatus, the 2019 Public Safety Loan, which remains outstanding in the principal amount of $4,527,938. And whereas together the above interfund loans are defined herein as the loans, and whereas RCW 35.39.0304 authorizes the city to invest its money in general obligation or utility revenue bonds or warrants of its own or of any other city or town in the state, and sections 5.8.5 and 5.12.1 of the city's administrative policy and procedure for investment policy, further authorize the city treasurer to invest in general obligation bonds or other bonds issued by the city as defined in section 4.9 of the investment policy. And whereas the loans were each documented with and secured by taxable limited tax general obligation bonds purchased by the Spokane Investment Pool, otherwise known as SIP, and whereas in order to achieve savings which can be achieved due to significantly lower interest rates, it is deemed necessary and in the best interest of the city to provide for the restructuring and refinancing of the loans through the issuance of a series of taxable limited tax general obligation refunding bonds to be purchased by SIP. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council as follows. Section 1, definitions. As used in this resolution, the following words shall have the following meanings. Annual debt service for any fiscal year or calendar year means the sum of the interest and principal due in such year on the bonds. If the interest rate on any such bond is other than a fixed rate, the rate applicable at the time of the computation shall be used. Asset Management Fund means the city's existing special fund of the same name into which all revenues collected for and allocated to the payment of the principal and interest on the bond shall be deposited into a separate account for such purpose and into which the principal proceeds received from the sale and delivery of the bond shall be paid into a separate account within the Asset Management Fund and used to pay the costs of refinancing the loans and paying the costs of issuance of the bonds. Bond owner or registered owner means the city of Spokane or payee for the benefit of the Spokane Investment Pool. Bond registrar means the treasurer or any successor appointed by the treasurer. Bond year means the 12-month period beginning on the date of the issuance of the bond. Bond means collectively the Series E4, E5, E6, E7, E8, and E9 bonds. City means the city of Spokane, Spokane County, Washington, a first-class city duly organized and existing under the laws of the state of Washington and its city charter. City council means the general legislative authority of the city as the same shall be duly and regularly constituted from time to time. Loans means collectively the 2014 public safety loan, the 2015 public safety loan, the 2016 public safety loan, the 2017 public safety loan, the 2018 public safety loan, and the 2019 public safety loan. Maturity date means a date not to exceed 5 years from the date of issuance of the bonds. Permitted investments means any investments of city funds permitted under the laws of the state of Washington as amended from time to time. Series E4 bond means the city of Spokane Limited Tax General Obligation Refunding Bond 2020 Series E4 Public Safety Equipment and Apparatus 2014 taxable issued pursuant to this resolution. Series E5 bond means the city of Spokane Limited Tax General Obligation Refunding Bond 2020 Series E5 Public Safety Equipment and Apparatus 2015 taxable issued pursuant to this resolution. Series E6 bond means the city of Spokane Limited Tax General Obligation Refunding Bond 2020 Series E6 Public Safety Equipment and Apparatus 2016 taxable issued pursuant to this resolution. Series E7 bond means the city of Spokane Limited Tax General Obligation Refunding Bond 2020 Series E7 Public Safety Equipment and Apparatus 2017 taxable issued pursuant to this resolution. Series E8 bond means the city of Spokane Limited Tax General Obligation Refunding Bond 2020 Series E8 Public Safety Equipment and Apparatus 2018 taxable issued pursuant to this resolution. Series E9 bond means the city of Spokane Limited Tax General Obligation Refunding Bond 2020 Series E9 Public Safety Equipment and Apparatus 2019 taxable issued pursuant to this resolution. SIP means the Spokane Investment Pool. SIP internal lending rate means an interest rate formula for the interfund lending of funds from the Spokane Investment Pool calculated as of the first day of the month in which the bonds are issued as follows. A rate equivalent to the United States Treasury rate of like maturity plus 50 basis points, 0.50%. Treasurer means the treasurer of the city or any successor to the functions of the treasurer. Rules of interpretation. In this resolution, unless the context otherwise requires, A, the terms hereby, hereof, hereto, herein, and hereunder, and similar terms, as used in this resolution, refer to this resolution as a whole and not to any particular article, section, subdivision, or clause hereof. And the term hereafter shall mean after, and the term heretofore shall mean before the date of this resolution. B, words of the masculine gender shall mean and include correlative words of the feminine and neutral genders, and words importing the singular number mean and include the plural number, and vice versa. C, words importing persons shall include firms, association, partnerships, including limited partnerships, trusts, corporations, and other legal entities, including public bodies as well as natural persons. D, any headings preceding the text of the several articles and sections of this resolution and any table of contents or marginal notes appended to copies hereof shall be solely for convenience or reference and shall not constitute a part of this resolution, nor shall they affect its meaning, construction, or effect. E, all references herein to articles, sections, and other subdivisions or clauses are to the corresponding articles, sections, subdivisions, or clauses hereof. Section 2, authorization and description of bonds. Series A, Series E4 bond, to provide funds to refinance the 2014 public safety loan and to pay costs of issuing the Series E4 bond, the city shall issue a limited tax general obligation refunding bond of the city to the SIP in the principal amount of $1,721,027.96 for the Series E4 bond to document an interfund loan facility with the SIP in the amount of $1,721,027.96. B, Series E5 bond, to provide funds to refinance the 2015 public safety loan and to pay costs of issuing the Series E5 bond. The city shall issue a limited general obligation refunding bond of the city to the SIP in the principal amount of $1,934,581.53 for the Series E5 bond to document an interfund loan facility with the SIP in the amount of $1,934,581.53. C, Series E6 bond, to provide funds to refinance the 2016 public safety loan and to pay costs of issuing the Series E6 bond, the city shall issue a limited tax general obligation refunding bond of the city to the SIP in the principal amount of $2,997,308.39 for the Series E6 bond to document an interfund loan facility with the SIP in the amount of $2,997,308.39. D, Series E7 bond to provide funds to refinance the 2017 public safety loan and to pay costs of issuing the Series E7 bond. The city shall issue a limited tax general obligation refunding bond of the city to the SIP in the principal amount of $3,524,125.13 for the Series E7 bond to document an interfund loan facility with the SIP in the amount of $3,524,125.13. E, Series E8 bond to provide funds to refinance the 2018 public safety loan and to pay costs of issuing the Series E8 bond. The city shall issue a limited tax general obligation refunding bond of the city to the SIP in the principal amount of $4,325,058.90 for the Series E8 bond to document an interfund loan facility with the SIP in the amount of $4,325,058.90. F, Series E9 bond to provide funds to refinance the 2019 public safety loan and to pay costs of issuing the Series E9 bond. The city shall issue a limited tax general obligation refunding bond of the city of the SIP in the principal amount of $4,527,938 for the Series E9 bond to document an interfund loan facility with the SIP in the amount of $4,527,938. The bond shall be dated as of their dates of delivery to the SIP, shall be in the amount specified above, shall be fully registered as to principal and interest, shall be numbered in such manner, and with any additional identification as the bond registrar deems necessary for identification, and shall mature on their respective maturity dates. Interest on the bond shall be calculated on a 360 basis, and principal of and interest thereon shall be due semi-annually on the payment dates established by SIP, provided the final payments may be balloon payments due and payable on the respective maturity date. The bond shall bear interest at the applicable SIP internal lending rate in effect on the date this resolution is adopted by the City Council. Interest shall be calculated on the basis of a 360-day year consisting of 12 30-day months. The bond shall be amortized to create approximately level debt service based on semi-annual payments of principal and interest, with final payment of principal and all accrued interest on the maturity dates, which final payments may be balloon payments. Section 3, Sale of Bonds. The City Council hereby approves the SIP's offer to purchase the bonds and establish interfund loans on the terms set forth in this resolution and the accompanying draft payment and amortization schedules. The proper city officials are hereby authorized and directed to do everything necessary for the prompt execution and delivery of the bonds to the City of Spokane for the benefit of the SIP. On or prior to the closing date, the SIP shall provide the city with separate final payment and amortization schedules for the bond. Section 4, Application of Bond Proceeds. A, Series E4 Bond 1. The proceeds of the Series E4 bond shall be expended to pay the costs of refinancing the 2014 public safety loan and to pay the costs of issuing the Series E4 bond as authorized herein. 2, the net proceeds of the Series E4 bond shall be deposited in the Asset Management Fund for the purposes of refinancing the 2014 public safety loan and discharging the obligations of the city relating thereto under Resolution Number 2019-0105. B, Series E5 bond. 1, the proceeds of the Series E5 bond shall be expended to pay the costs of refinancing the 2015 public safety loan and to pay the costs of issuing the Series E5 bond as authorized herein. 2, the net proceeds of the Series E5 bond shall be deposited into the Asset Management Fund for the purposes of refinancing the 2015 public safety loan and discharging the obligations of the city relating thereto under Resolution Number 2014-79. C, Series E6 bond. 1, the proceeds of the Series E6 bond shall be expended to pay the costs of refinancing the 2016 public safety loan and to pay the costs of issuing the Series E6 bond as authorized herein. 2, the net proceeds of the Series E6 bond shall be deposited into the Asset Management Fund for the purposes of refinancing the 2016 public safety loan and discharging the obligations of the city relating thereto under Resolution Number 2014-79. D, Series E7 bond. 1, the proceeds of the Series E7 bond shall be expended to pay the costs of refinancing the 2017 public safety loan and to pay the costs of issuing the Series E5 bond as authorized herein. 2, the net proceeds of the Series E7 bond shall be deposited into the Asset Management Fund for the purposes of refinancing the 2017 public safety loan and discharging the obligations of the city relating thereto under Resolution Number 2014-79. E, Series E8 bond. 1, the proceeds of the Series E8 bond shall be expended to pay the costs of refinancing the 2018 public safety loan and to pay the costs of issuing the Series E8 bond as authorized herein. 2, the net proceeds of the Series E8 bond shall be deposited into the Asset Management Fund for the purposes of refinancing the 2018 public safety loan and discharging the obligations of the city relating thereto under Resolution Number 2014-79. F, Series E9 bond. 1, the proceeds of the Series E9 bond shall be expended to pay the costs of refinancing the 2019 public safety loan and to pay the cost of issuing the Series E9 bond as authorized herein. 2, the net proceeds of the Series E9 bond shall be deposited into the Asset Management Fund for the purposes of refinancing the 2019 public safety loan and discharging the obligations of the city relating thereto under Resolution Number 2014-79. G, the city hereby irrevocably sets aside sufficient funds from proceeds of the bonds to make the payments described in this resolution. Section 5, pledge of funds and credit to pay principal and interest on the bonds as the same shall become due. The city hereby irrevocably covenants that it will deposit available city funds into the Asset Management Fund in amount sufficient to pay the principal of and interest on the bonds. The full faith, credit, and taxing power of the city are hereby irrevocably pledged for the prompt payment of such principal and interest. Section 6, registration and payments. The treasurer shall act as authenticating agent, paying agent, and registrar for the bonds. Collectively, the bond registrar, both principal of and interest on the bond, shall be payable in lawful money of the United States of America. Payments of principal of and interest of the bond shall be paid by interfund transfer, check, wire, or electronic transfer. Final payment of all principal of and interest on the bond shall be paid upon demand, presentation, and surrender of the bonds by the SIP to the bond registrar. The bonds are not transferable. Section 7, prepayment. At the option of the city or upon demand of the SIP, the bonds may be prepaid in whole or in part at any time with prepayments to apply first to interest and then to principal. Section 8, execution and authentication of bonds. The bond shall be executed on behalf of the city with the manual or facsimile signature of the mayor and attested with the manual or facsimile signature of the city clerk. In case any of the officers who shall have signed or attested the bond shall cease to be such officer before such bonds have been actually issued and delivered. Such bonds shall be valid nevertheless and may be issued by the city with the same effect as though the persons who had signed or attested such bond had not ceased to be such officers. Only a bond that bears a registration certificate in the form set forth in Section 9 hereof, manually executed by the bond registrar, shall be valid or obligatory for any purpose or entitled to the benefits of this resolution. Such registration certificate shall be conclusive evidence that the bonds so authenticated have been duly executed, authenticated, and delivered hereunder, and are entitled to the benefits of this resolution. In case either of the officers who shall have executed the bond shall cease to be an officer or officers of the city before the bond shall have been authenticated or delivered by the bond registrar or issued by the city, such bonds may nevertheless be authenticated, delivered, and issued, and upon such authentication, delivery, and issuance shall be as binding upon the city as though those who signed the same had continued to be such officers of the city. The bonds may also be signed and attested on behalf of the city by such persons as at the actual date of execution of the bond shall be the proper officers of the city, although at the original date of the bonds any such person shall not have been such officer of the city. Section 9, form of the bonds. The bond shall be in substantially the following form, which is on file for review in the city clerk's office.
Yeah.
Section 10, sorry. Section 10, ongoing disclosure. The bonds are not subject to Rule 15C2-12 of the Securities and Exchange Commission under the Securities Exchange Act of 1934, and city makes no undertaking regarding ongoing disclosure with respect to the bonds. Section 11, prior acts. All acts taken pursuant to the authority of this resolution but prior to its effective date are hereby ratified and confirmed. Section 12, severability. If any provision in this resolution is declared by any court of competent jurisdiction to be contrary to law, then such provision shall be null and void and shall be deemed separable from the remaining provisions of this resolution and shall be in no way affect the validity of the other provisions of this resolution or of the bonds. Section 13, effective date. This resolution shall become effective immediately upon its adoption.
All right. Now we have applause.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Woo-hoo. I think our attorney, Ms. McAloon, was having revenge on you for having to, she had to prepare that this afternoon under short notice. She said she's doing. Just briefly, for those who are still watching at home after hearing that, I just wanted to outline the big picture, what this is. Several years ago in the city of Spokane, we did not have a dedicated fund for purchasing fire and police vehicles, which costs millions and millions of dollars every year just to replace what we have as they grow old and become more expensive to maintain than to purchase new ones. And the previous administration came up with a plan of every year when we have our 1% increase in property tax revenues, they would take that amount of money, match it with an equal amount of money from sales tax and other sources, and add that on an annual basis, accumulating each year to the fund to purchase those vehicles. But while that amount was building up, we took out loans every year or so to replace those vehicles until such time as we have enough annually that we won't have to do that. So all of those loans that you just heard are those outstanding loans. And given the drastic drop in interest rates over the last year, we could save money for the city and apply those dollars to purchasing public safety vehicles by refinancing. So that was essentially a resolution in favor of refinancing that would lower our interest rate, lower our payments, and devote more money to public safety vehicle purchases. In addition, we had to figure out which repayment plan we wanted to undertake, and after several months and multiple meetings and the best advice from the administration finance and council's own finance, we have chosen a repayment method. And this resolution, if it passes as is, will give direction to our bond council to rewrite our financial documents and start achieving those savings. So that's what that is about in a nutshell, in my opinion. We have one person signed up for public comment. That would be Mr. Patrick Laws again. I'm not sure if he's on the line, but hit *3, Mr. Laws, if you're there. Okay, we're not seeing anything from Mr. Laws. Are there any comments or questions from council members? Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, I described during our briefing session why I maybe went a different direction in terms of which plan we should choose, but ultimately we need to refinance, and so I am going to support this. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Any other comment? Any other comments, questions? All right. One, I want to commend Tanya Wallace, our Chief Financial Officer, for really getting her team to dig into this and really give us really helpful information, both about this refinance, but also to really re-examine the entire public safety vehicle capital purchase program. And I think we have a really good plan going forward with the assistance of our finance person, Tim Dunavant, which will, within a few short years, get us out of debt and then an adequate amount of money each year so that we can pay as we go within a few years. And I think that's going to give some predictability to the police and fire departments and ultimately save money in the long run and free up our lending space if we need it. There was some question about whether or not we would take some of the savings from the capital vehicle refinance and then give it to the general fund for spending on operations. Luckily, it doesn't look like we need to do that, but if for some reason things go backwards again and we're in a pinch on our general fund, we can always refinance yet again and take care of that. So with that, let's go to a roll call. Councilmember Mumm. Is it aye? And then Councilmember Stratton.
Aye.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Aye.
Council President's an aye. Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Aye.
All right, that passes 7-0. Thank you, and again, thank you, Madam Clerk, for that amazing reading. I think that only leaves us a first reading ordinance left for tonight.
Ordinance C 35-932, amending Ordinance C 34-840 that vacated the alley between Cowley Street and Grant Street from East Riverside Avenue south to the alley. Further action is deferred on the first reading ordinance.
All right, that brings us to the end of our meeting. Next Monday is Labor Day, which is a holiday for the city, and we will not be having a council meeting. So we will see you again for a legislative session on the 14th of September. Stay safe and strong, everyone. We'll see you soon. We're adjourned.